Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the first council meeting of the new Maribyrnong Council 2024 to 2028. On this historic occasion, it's also marked by Maribyrnong City Council's return to the newly renovated Footscray Town Hall chamber after an absence of just over 2 years. I'm declaring the meeting open at 6:31. We acknowledge that we're on the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation. We offer our respect to the elders of these lands and through them to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples past and present and emerging. This council meeting has been convened to elect the Mayor and Deputy Mayor for Maribyrnong City Council and to consider councillor committee appointments. In accordance with Clause 6.1 of Council's governance roles, it is my duty as Chief Executive Officer to chair this meeting until a Mayor has been elected by the Council. Could I just start by kindly reminding everyone to switch off their phones or turn to silent? I advise that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed and will be available on Council's website. All care is taken to maintain your privacy, however your presence may be recorded. In accordance with Council's governance rules, meetings may not be photographed, filmed or recorded by the public without the consent of the Chief Executive Officer. I advise that no requests to record the meeting proceedings have been received, and of course we have our live stream that people can access. Apologies and virtual attendance. As per 72.3 of Council's governance rules, I wish to advise that Councillor Elena Pereira is attending this meeting remotely. We understand, Councillor Pereira, that there may be a slight delay, so we've made accommodation for that when you speak. Councillor Pereira, can you please confirm that you can hear and see the meeting?
Yes, I can confirm that I can hear and see the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Pereira. I can confirm that we can hear and see you. There are no apologies for tonight's meeting. In accordance with the Local Government Act 2020, I need to ask, does any councillor have a conflict of interest in relation to any of the agenda items? No conflicts of interest? Thank you, councillors. So we'll now move to the reports, and we have 5 reports. Agenda item 4.1 is the term of the Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Could I call for a councillor to move a motion in regard to agenda 4.1? And councillors, you will see the motion up on the screen. Councillor Thomas.
The officer recommendation is that Council resolve the term of the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor be for a 1-year term.
Thank you. Could I call on a councillor to second the motion? Thank you, Councillor Lamb. Would the mover like to speak to the motion?
Formally moved.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak to the motion?
Formally seconded.
Thank you. I'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? And all councillors must vote. Thank you. I declare the motion carried. Right, we now move to the election of the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor. Councillors, the next item of business is the election of the Mayor, which I will be conducting. I will briefly explain how the election of the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor will be undertaken. The election will be conducted in accordance with the prescribed requirements of Part B of Maribyrnong Council's governance rules. The Mayor must be elected by an absolute majority of councillors. An absolute majority is 4 councillors for Maribyrnong City Council. If an absolute majority cannot be obtained, Council may resolve to conduct a new mayoral election at a later specified time and date. I will formally invite nominations for the office of the Mayor. There is no requirement for a nomination to be seconded. If there is only one nomination, the candidate will be declared duly elected. If there are 2 or more nominations, each candidate will be afforded the opportunity to address Council for 5 minutes in the order that nominations were received. Councillors will then be asked to vote for one of the candidates by a show of hands in the order of the nominations received. In the event of a candidate receiving the votes of an absolute majority of the councillors, that candidate will then be declared duly elected. If there are 3 or more nominations and no candidate receives an absolute majority, the candidate with the fewest number of votes will be declared a defeated candidate, and councillors will then vote for the remaining candidates. A determination by lot may be required where no candidate is determined to have the fewest number of votes. This will be detailed further if it arises. If one of the remaining candidates receives an absolute majority, the candidate will then be declared duly elected. And the same process will be used for the election of the Deputy Mayor. If we have a Mayor, then the Mayor will be conducting the election of the Deputy Mayor. All right, could I now invite nominations for the office of the Mayor?
Councillor
Yes.
Thomas.
No, not yet. Sorry.
Thank you. So, Councillor Meredith is nominating Councillor Thomas. Are there any further nominations for the Mayor? Councillor Lamb?
I would like to nominate Councillor Pradeep Tiwari.
Thank you. Councillor Tiwari is also nominated for Mayor. So I need to take these in order of nomination. So I will invite each nominee in the order they were nominated to address the council for a maximum of 5 minutes. So Councillor Thomas.
Sure. Thanks, CEO. So I'd firstly like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri, Woiwurrung, Bunurong and Boonwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nations as the traditional owners of the land on which we gather tonight, and I acknowledge we meet on unceded stolen land, and am proud that Victoria has begun the process of truth and treaty with First Nations peoples. I put my hand up to be Mayor of Maribyrnong because after 4 years as a councillor, I've had a chance to develop the skills and experience required to take on the role. For the past 4 years, I've thrown everything I have into my councillor role, meeting with residents, supporting their advocacy, developing policy and pushing the policy and strategy agenda to be as socially and environmentally just as we can be. I've done the work on committees, been the Deputy Chair of Lead West, Chair of the Metropolitan Transport Forum, Chair of the Maribyrnong Active Transport Advisory Committee, the Arts Advisory Committee and the LGBTQIA+ Committee. Work that I've thoroughly enjoyed and have been able to make positive, constructive and considered contributions to. In the policy area, I've led or been instrumental in Council's health emergency declaration, reducing harm from gambling, increasing money for community grants and the climate emergency response, and have acted as one of Council's gender equity ambassadors, amongst other things. I've listened and learned and then acted. From the community, from my former councillor colleagues, some of whom are in the chamber tonight, the CEO and the executive. I've had many difficult conversations and stepped up when challenges require considered and thoughtful decision making. I can think of a number of times, particularly in the chamber at Braybrook, where my voice, echoing that of the community, challenged existing practices and sought change. This experience is not something that can be accrued or developed overnight. It's something that takes time and exposure and hard work. I've thought really long and hard about this, and I know that I'm ready to step into the mayor role, and I'm seeking support from councillors for this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Could I invite Councillor Tiwari to please address the council for 5 minutes? Up to.
Sure. I'll keep it short, won't be that long. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today, the Wurundjeri, Woiwurrung and Bunurong peoples of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and I honour their deep connection to this land, which has been a place of culture, storytelling and community for countless generations. As mentioned, I'd like to keep my speech short. Thank you, Councillor Lamb, for the nomination and your trust. I'd like to say that people, after many years, have voted for a change in this council, and I'd be proud to lead that change and also be a part of that change. I also wanted to say that I've taken into consideration why people in my ward have voted for me, and that's to present a fair and transparent voice for the whole community. I think I would be a good advocate for to lead the community and council, and I would work hard for the entire community to present my views for the community and also build the trust of all the councillors present here. And thank you for your trust, for everyone that has, and Cook and everyone else, Councillor Lamb, that has nominated for me. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Tiwari. So I'm now going to ask for a show of hands for the candidates in order of the nominations received. So could I please have a show of hands for those that support Councillor Thomas as being elected Mayor? So I think I have 3 votes. Could governance confirm that's correct? All right, thank you. So that's not an absolute majority, Councillor Thomas. So we will now move on to Councillor Tiwari. Could you please show, put your hands up if you wish to vote for Councillor Tiwari as Mayor. 1, 2. So I have 4. Governance, is that correct? Okay, good. So there, I would like to declare Councillor Tiwari elected to the office of Mayor for the City of Maribyrnong.
Thank you.
Now, Councillor Tiwari, could I please ask you to come and be robed, and then you'll take over my chair here. And if people in the public wish to take a photograph, you certainly may do that. And I might ask you to do one, just so I can sit here so I can people here. Sure. Oh, yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor Tiwari, please take. Now I'm going to hand over to Mayor Tiwari to chair the rest of the meeting, and I'm going to be sitting right next to you for any assistance you might need. So we just start with
Agenda 4.3.
agenda point 4.3.
Right, we're moving on to agenda item 4.3, the election of the Deputy Mayor. I'll now invite nominations for the office of Deputy Mayor.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Thomas.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further nominations?
Any further nominations? No further nominations.
You declare.
I declare
Councillor
Councillor Thomas Deputy Mayor of Maribyrnong.
So we can turn the cameras off. Thank you.
Moving on to-
Yes.
Okay, we'll now move on to agenda item 4.4, Councillor Committee appointments for 2024 to 2025. I'll now invite nominations for the following councillor appointments.
So ask a nomination for the chair of City Development
I'll-
Delegated
yeah,
Committee.
I'll now call for a nomination for the chair of the City Development Delegate Committee. Are there any other,
You're nominating yourself,
Nominating, yeah.
Councillor Thomas? You can do that.
are there any other nominations?
No.
No? So
You can declare.
Yep.
She's.
I declare Councillor Thomas as the chair of the City Development Delegate Committee. And as representing the Mayor and Councillor.
The Mayor sits on the Audit and Risk Committee, so we need one further councillor.
All right, I now invite nominations for a representative to the Audit and Risk Committee. Councillor Thomas, Councillor Yengi.
Oh, no, I was going to nominate Councillor Yengi.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
okay.
I nominate myself, sorry.
Only one.
So,
Just to clarify, we've just got one
Double one.
nomination.
Oh, just one nomination, Councillor Yengi. Yeah, thank you. That's all right.
are there any further nominations?
No, only one.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the Mayor and Councillor Yengi are now nominated as representative through the Audit and Risk Committee.
Yep.
I'll now invite nominations for the representatives to the Chief Executive Officer, Employment Matters Advisory Committee.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Semra and Councillor Lamb and myself, Councillor Thomas as well. Can we do that?
I think you can only
Do one.
nominate one person, is that correct, Lisa?
This
The
is
Chief Executive
CEO.
Officer,
3 councillor appointments and the mayor.
and one person can nominate all three?
Yes, so actually, the
Haven't
way
had
that the
this
papers are structured is that this is one motion and all appointments are considered in one motion, so we take them as a block rather than as individual motions.
So we can get 3.
So
We
let's-
can get 3.
I can nominate for someone else if that's...
Yeah, and I
No,
can.
no. Well, so
Yeah.
Councillor Thomas, who were you nominating? Just to clarify again.
Yeah.
So I'd like to nominate Councillor Semra, Councillor Lamb and myself for those 3 positions.
Okay.
And
And the mayor.
Sorry, yes, the mayor is the chair, sorry.
The mayor is the fourth.
Any other nominations? Okay. So I'll now carry the Mayor as chairpersons and Councillors Thomas, Councillor Semra and Councillor Lam as representatives to the Chief Executive Officer Employment Matters Advisory Committee. I'll now invite nominations for the Councillor Delegate. Nominations
For the Lead West joint
Oh,
delegate,
okay.
it's not written
So
there.
it'd be, be Councillor Delegate
Delegate,
and the proxy.
yeah.
Both? Okay, I'd say that again. I'll now invite nominations for the councillor delegate and the proxy councillor delegate to the Lead West Joint Delegated Committee.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Yengi as the councillor delegate and Councillor Pereira as the proxy councillor delegate for the Lead West Joint Delegated Committee.
Are there any other nominations?
No.
So Councillor Yengi as the councillor delegate and Councillor Pereira as a proxy councillor delegate to the Lead West Joint Delegated Committee.
So I think we now
We'll
have
go to
to,
4.4, item
Yeah.
4.4.
so we just now need someone to move the motion that's up on the screen.
Sure. I now call for a councillor to move a motion in regard to agenda item 4.4.
Yep.
Councillor Lam. I'll call for a councillor to second the motion. Councillor Thomas. I'll now put the motion to vote.
I think, does she have to read it out, I think, Lisa? No? As recommended. If we just say as recommended.
As recommended.
Yep. Thank you. So the names are all in there now.
Yep.
Thank you, governance.
I'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4,
You need to vote as well.
5. Do I need to say all
Okay, that's
against?
good. So that's carried.
Yep, I declare the motion carried. We'll move to item 4.5, Oaths of Office and Affirmations of Office 2024 for the Maribyrnong City Council elections. I call for a councillor to move a motion in regard to agenda item 4.5. Councillor Lam, could you please read the motion?
I can't see that.
I can't see it from there. Maybe Councillor Thomas?
Can the governor just move a little bit up, please?
You right? Can you read?
Yeah, okay. The council resolved to, number 1, note that all ceremonies held at the Footscray Town Hall on Wednesday, the 13th of November 2024, the following councillor took their oath of office or affirmation of office before the Chief Executive Officer in accordance with the requirement of the Section 30 of the Local Government Act 2020 Councillor Pradeep Tiwari, Bluestone Ward, Affirmation of Office, and Councillor Cook Lamb, Braybrook Ward, out of office. Councillor Mohammed Sembra, Bandap Ward, out of office. Councillor Susan Yengi, River Ward, out of office. Councillor Samantha Meredith, Saltwater Ward, out of office. Councillor Bernadette Thomas, Shiot Ward, Affirmation of Office. Number 2, note that all the virtual ceremony held at the Maribyrnong City Council office on the Friday, the 15th of November, Councillor Elena Ferrari took an affirmation of office before the Chief Executive Officer in accordance with the requirement of the Section 30 of the Local Government Act 2020 and 5 B of the Local Government Governance and Integrity Regulation 2020, and number 3, to receive and not a copy of the executed oath of office / oath of affirmation as shown in attachment 1.
Thank you. I call for a councillor to second the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Would the mover like to speak to the motion?
Formally moved, thanks.
Would the seconder like to speak to the motion?
Formally seconded.
I'll now put the motion to vote. All those in favour?
It's unanimous.
I declare the motion carried. And do we declare the
And
motion
now,
closed?
yes, it's 7:52.
6:52.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
6:52, yes.
Okay. I now declare the meeting closed at 6:52 p.m.